Easy guys, it's Monk here. So today we're going to look at my favourite plugin bundle, which is Soundtoys 5. I love this bundle of plugins, so I wanted to do a video like especially on it. It's not sponsored or anything like that. It's literally just like I just want to run through this stuff because it's great. It's great fun. So what I've got is just like this really nice sample of Splice, just this ukulele, which I'll show you first. It's really nice with all those nature sounds in there as well. I'm a really big fan of that. Okay, so Soundtoys, all the plugins come separately, but then they have this host plugin, which is the effect rack. Not all of the plugins in the Soundtoys 5 bundle are usable in effect rack, unfortunately. I don't know why. You'd think it would make sense to put all of them in there, but at the moment we've got some of them in here, which I'm going to go through the effect rack first, and then we'll go through the additional ones that aren't included in the effect rack, but they are included in the Soundtoys 5 bundle. So effect rack is this host like multi-effects plugin, which basically works where you drag the individual effects in like you would in an analog effect rack, and you can stack them up. And I really like it because you then have this dry wet knob at the top here as well, so you can like stack up all these effects, create some really unique stuff going on, and then you can dial back in your original signal, which is really useful. So going from top to bottom in here, we're just going to look at each of these effects that are included. So right at the top is crystallizer. Crystallizer is quite a unique one. It is a I got the Soundtoys website up on the other screen just to get the descriptions right, but crystallizer is described as a pitch shifting granular reverse echo, a mind warping sound design trip, and I would agree, it is sick. So we're just going to put this on our loop and see what happens. And then what we can do is pitch up these delays. Maybe if I pitch them up by 12 full octave, get this effect. Maybe down 12. I really like that. And then you've got this like gate duck thing here, so you can sort of affect like the original signal coming through. Your delays sort of duck when the original signal. That's just to sort of help with not too much of a build up of lots of delays, you know what I mean? And I won't go too in depth into each plugin or we'll be here all day, so I'm just giving you overviews on what they do. And like most of the Soundtoys, you look at this initial thing, look out for the tweak button that's on them, because if you click on that, you will then get extra options, like you've got a filter here for it, attack and release and things like that. So always look for the tweak button because you have extra settings that you can play with in there. Next up is Decapitator. Decapitator is one of Soundtoys' most popular plugins probably. It's a really good analog saturation plugin. Each of these letters down here are made to emulate different types of analog saturators. If you look on their website, if there are other videos on it, maybe I'll leave one link below if I find one. But yeah, they're made to emulate like different specific types of analog saturation, so you can sort of have a play through them and sort of you know, see what you like. If we'll have a little go through now. So that last one's quite extreme there, so then you can like dial back the dry wet. And you have like a tone for bright or dark, and you have this low cut, and there's a thump switch here, so that'll create like a little resonance boost where your cut off is in the low cut, which is handy for like adding a bit of a like oomph, I suppose, to your sounds. So that's Decapitator. Then next is Devillock Audio Level Destroyer. Soundtoys website describes this as a crushing, pounding, aggressive compressor for massive drums. So made for drums, but you can obviously use it on anything. This does just destroy audio quickly, like in a pleasing way though. It's just like really heavy distortion essentially. next in the effect rack is Echo Boy, analog echo processor. Now this is probably one of the most industry standard delay plugins there is going at this point. All the top studios are apparently using this. What's great is it has, and here there's style edit, and you've got you've got so many options in there already, but I meant to click on this menu. So you have all these different types of delay emulations, you know, like tape echoes, all different kinds of stuff going on there. So you can get like really analog old school delay styles going on, and you've just got so many options in here. And now, being completely honest, I am not too familiar with this full Echo Boy version because I find there's so much going on. I find it like a bit overwhelming when I'm just in the creative flow. Like there's like a bit too much options. So what is great for this, if you're like me, like at some point I will take the time to learn this properly because there are loads of options, but you also next in the chain get Echo Boy Junior, which is a simplified version of the same plugin. This is what I use as my standard delay on every track. Like I always use this as my delay plugin. And you have like a more limited number of delay types. I usually just keep it on studio tape, but sometimes like I'll mess with others if I'm looking for a more sort of stylized effect. You got normal, wide, and ping pong. You got like the different delay types, delay time options, you know, standard delay stuff, and then you also got a saturation knob here as well. So this is basically like all the essentials, and then if you want to get more complex, the full Echo Boy is for you. But it's made to emulate old analog gear, which like most of the Soundtoys effects rack is. That's all its purpose. It's all very much like analog effects in a digital soft version. And then much the same again, we have the Filter Freak plugins, which same as the Echo Boy, there is the full version, and then there is like what would you call it, the mini version. I'm not sure how they called it on this, whether it was called Junior or not, but basically you've got this big version with lots of complex stuff going on, and then you also have the simplified version. Again, I would use the simplified version. I think the main thing is on the main version you can have 2 filters on the go at once, whereas this one you can only have one. So you can see that's pretty fun. Yeah, I don't have as much to say on those because I don't use them quite as much as the other ones. But as you can see, if you need you want to do like creative filtering effects and stuff, these are a good option. What I would say is check out the actual Soundtoys YouTube and the Soundtoys videos, because they've got some really cool like masterclasses on how to use all this effect rack stuff for like extreme audio manipulation and things like that. Like there is so many cool creative things you can do with these plugins, which is what makes me love them so much. And I'm probably doing a bad job of like explaining all of it. I'm just sort of giving you a basic overview, so I'd highly recommend going to the Soundtoys channel and checking those videos out. I'll leave them links below so you can do that. And then there's Microshift is the next one. I use this a lot on like a lot of sounds. So Microshift was made to be a vocal, like for vocals. And it's essentially like a widening effect, I suppose. It kind of reminds me of a chorus, but I'm not actually sure exactly what it is. But I'll just show you. Like, let's have it off first, so you're just reminded of the original sample, and then I'll slowly bring it in. So I use that quite a lot. I'm not sure of exactly the ins and outs of how that works, but I use that a lot on sounds just to give them like this extra bit of character. I know they're supposed to be for widening, but it's like It's not even the width that I think I'm looking for when I use that. It just adds this really nice character and quality to sounds that I put it on. Right, then next in the chain, Pan Man. If you've been watching my previous videos, you'll know I use this one quite a lot for any kind of panning effects. It basically is a rhythmic auto panning thing. I'm just reading the website. It's like rhythmic auto panning with cool classic features, new tricks, and analog color. So as always, analog emulation stuff. It's made to like give some analog quality to your sounds. What I use it for generally is on my hats to just sort of make them gently pan a bit from left to right, and I usually do that with rhythm step, which you can then set the speed. If I just press play, so you can see what's going on. So with the smoothing, when it's on hard, it just sort of like jumps from place to place across the stereo image, and when you've got soft, it will actually like glide between the two areas. So that sort of does what it says on the tin. Again, you've got extra options. If you then open the tweak up, you've got all this stuff to like edit the rhythm, like modulate how it is moving around the stereo field. Again, loads of creative possibilities there. I recommend watching their videos to go more in depth on that. And then we've got Phase Mistress, which analog phase shifter. So it's like a phaser effect. We'll play that. All these options for how we modulate it, all these different types of like wave type. We've got loads of these presets in here. We can open up tweak to like edit like the shape, and we can use sort of like how Serum, we have a wave editor. We can do similar things in here. So then Primal Tap is like a retro delay unit, which is quite good at like mangling sound, and you can do pretty interesting stuff with it. I use it for the freeze option. So if I give you an example of using the freeze. So you can see you could do some really cool creative stuff with that. As soon as you freeze it, you're going to like create this loop of the delays that you can then edit and modulate how you like. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Radiator is like a little tube amp emulation thing. It's mostly, I would just use it to add some saturation. It's just emulating like a amp basically, but like the input and the output knob both have like different qualities to them, so slightly different types of saturation you can get from it. So like you could try whacking the input like right up, but then controlling it with your output volume, if that makes sense, or you could try whacking the output right up but bringing your input down, and then you're going to get sort of like the different kind of flavors that you would get from this emulation of an old school like analog mixer. Then there's psyche, which is an analog EQ emulation. I often use this to just boost the highs in a sound a bit. You also have a drive knob on here with its own sort of analog saturation character to it as well. And then there's Tremolator, which is a tremolo effect. Again, when you open up Tweak, we can do all of this stuff like editing the rhythm and editing the wave shape and stuff. There's there's so much there. I just wanted to like show you what like this stuff that's possible. Just looking at it, like obviously, like it would require a whole separate video to go in everything you can do with it. But you can see there that you could like edit the sort of rhythm that your tremolo is happening at. We can like get rid of some. So we'll do this as an example quickly. And then you can see that we can add extras of these as well, so we can get like really creative with it. So obviously, like, you know, you'd probably want to do something a bit more like with a bit more sense to it. And then the shape editor as well, so like the actual shape of that tremolo effect as it's coming in. Like just like how complex you can get with that, man. Like that obviously is going to sound rubbish. But yeah, just to show you sort of like the infinite possibilities that is available with using the effect rack. So that's everything in effect rack, and now I'll show you some of the plugins that for some reason aren't in the rack. So when we go into Soundtoys here, the ones that we haven't covered will be the first one I see is Little Altar Boy. Okay. This one is sick. It's originally used for like vocals, but I use it on lots of... I just use this generally as my go-to pitch shifter. It's a pitch tool, so we can change the pitch and formant. Essentially, when you've got it, like if you keep it on the same pitch, but you change the formant, if you put that on vocal, you can sort of change like the gender of the voice. So like obviously bring it down, and you can get like a more of a male tone up and more of a female tone. So you can just change like the character of a voice, which is very interesting. And you got these other options like a robot thing, quantize for like your sort of classic what you call it, auto-tune sort of effects that you can put on vocals. I haven't worked out how to do it yet, but apparently you can also do this with MIDI. So where you'll play in melodies and it will automatically pitch shift the audio to the key that you're pressing, so you can then like make entirely new melodies out of the audio, which I really need to have a go at. But let's just listen to what this plugin can do on the sample that we're working with. So just great for pitch shifting already. I'll show you just the formant. You can already like do some quite creative like just tone adjustment to things with that, and then it changes a bit if we have it like on one of these modes that we have it on. And then this also has a drive knob involved, so you can add some saturation to it afterwards. Then they have a reverb. A really simple one. It's literally just one knob. You got then the mix, and then you've just got a low cut filter. This is a really nice reverb. It is like, I feel like buying it on its own, it's like £100 for a really simple reverb. Like I don't know if I'd do that, but like, you know, in the bundle it's a great little addition. So let's just have a listen to that. Right. And it also has the infinite option. That's what's cool actually about this reverb, is if you put it on infinity, you then create a reverb that will go on forever. So literally if we just play a bit and then stop it, the reverb will just carry on. Reverb will just go on forever, like if you want it to. So that can be good if you want to like create some, like, you know, get creative with that, make some drones and stuff out of it. Yeah, and they're all the Soundtoys plugins basically in the Soundtoys 5 bundle. I'm not sure why we haven't got the Altar Boy and the plate in the effect rack, because that would be pretty good, but we don't for now anyway. But it's all the same, amazing set of plugins. They're by far my favorite bundle. It is like a bit expensive, but you know, as always, get it on the Black Friday deals and you're winning basically. So hopefully, like, that's just a little insight there. If you haven't got Soundtoys and you were thinking about getting it, that's sort of the stuff that is possible with it. As I said, there are a lot more in-depth videos on Soundtoys, so I'll leave the link below to them so you can go check them out. If you've got any questions you want to ask, drop them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you. If you found it useful, drop a like and subscribe and all of that, because it's really helpful for the algorithms. And yeah, big up. I'll see you guys in the next video.